Hello, and welcome to PowerPoint 2019-365 Domain 4 Hands-on Exercise Answer Key. As you can see, I've already downloaded my files to a folder here on my desktop, so let's get started. I'll start with the instructions. And as you can see, I've taken my presentation. I've done a save as so that I can always have a clean copy of that presentation so I can get back to start if I want to. I'm going to go ahead and open my instructions. And the very first instruction says I should have downloaded my practice files and saved them to a folder on my desktop. Nice work. Now we're going to open the presentation folder and we're going to arrange those windows so we can see both these instructions and that presentation. There is a how-to video available in the Domain 1.0 hands-on exercise section of Talent if you are confused about how to do that or you just can't remember and it's been a while. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize my instructions and come back here. I'm going to open my presentation, and I'm going to go ahead and pop this into a smaller window. I'm going to close this because I don't need it anymore, and I am going to bring my instructions and also pop them into a smaller window. I'll do a little bit of fiddling around here, make this pretty much as wide as my desktop, and bring it down to the bottom edge of the screen, and then just start squishing this until that ribbon disappears. All right, that's probably about right. And as you can see, just to maximize the amount of space that I have to work, I have chosen in my PowerPoint presentation to go to Show Tabs Only. That means that my ribbon is collapsed until I need it. So let's go ahead and see where we are. This would be instruction number 3. In the presentation file, locate the slide navigation pane at the left. That would be this. Select slide number 2, the duration of your average job search, and then click the Insert Chart button in the empty placeholder. This would be my Insert Chart button. So let's go ahead and crack that bad boy open. We want to insert a pie chart. So I'm going to select a pie chart, and I'm just going to accept the default and say OK. It'll open up this little chart in Excel for me. So it wants me to insert a pie chart using the data from cells A1 through B7 of the Excel file chart data. So let's go back to my desktop and let's go back to that PowerPoint D4 folder. And sure enough, there is my chart data. So let's open that thing up, and I will expand this just a little bit so we can see better. And A1 through B7 is this. I'll go ahead and Control C to copy that. And I'm just going to click here, Control V, and paste the entire thing. If you want to see what that looks like in here, you can, of course, expand. It looks just like it did in the other folder. I'll go ahead and close here. And my pie chart now reflects my new data. A few more things that we want to do to this chart. We want to apply the Quick Layout 1. So I'm going to go to the Chart Tools Design tab, and I'm going to go to the Quick Layout button, and I'm going to choose Layout 1. It also wants me to apply Chart Style 9. So here are my chart styles. If I just mouse over them, they'll tell me what number they are. Style 1, 2, this must be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 9. I'll select that one. Wants me to use Colorful Palette 2. So let's go to the Change Colors button. I'm still working on Chart Tools Design right here. We want Colorful Palette 2. So here's the Colorful Palette 1, and there's Colorful Palette 2. So I'll select that. We want to change the data label to Data Callout. You can get at this a couple of ways. Whoops, sorry. You can either choose this plus button right here to add or remove chart elements, or you can go to the Chart Tools Design tab and go to the Add Chart Element button right here. If I want to go to the data labels, I can go to Data Callout, and it changes this to my Data Callout. We want to increase the font size in the data labels to 16. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on the data labels. One click selects the entire series of data labels for me. If I were to click one more time, I would get just that one data callout, but I want them all. So I click just once. I'll go to the Home tab. I will go to my Increase Font Size button and click until I am at 16. Okay. Step G here, change the data label shape to call out speech bubble rectangle with rounded corners. All right, now this time I am going to go to Chart Tools, Format, and over here on the Insert Shapes group, I've got the Change Shape button. I'm going to go ahead and go down to the callouts and choose the rounded rectangle, or the rectangle with corners rounded. Okay, so that's great. You'll notice it made my speech bubbles a little weird, but hang in there because we're going to increase the size of the chart to best use the space. So I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to click on my chart here and I'm going to move it up and to the left, and then I'm going to grab that resizing bubble right there, and I'm just going to make it a little bigger, and you can see that my data labels sorted themselves out automatically when I went ahead and changed the size. Okay, let's go ahead and save our work, and let's move on to step 4. We're going to select slide number 5, Common Categories of Behavioral Interview Questions, from the slide navigation pane at left. So there's slide number 5. We're going to use the Insert Table button and insert a table that is 2 columns by 6 rows. All right, so I've got my Insert Table button right here, and I'm going to do 2 columns by 6 rows. I'll say OK, and there it is. I'm going to populate the table with the content below. And this little note here, if you cut and paste, you'll need to use the clear formatting button to adjust. I'll explain that. So here is my table and my instructions. If I mouse over the top of the column, I get that entire column. I can Control C to copy. I'm going to come up to my table here, do the same thing, select that entire column, and Control V. And you'll notice it's tiny and weird. Hang in there. I'm going to copy my second column here and get that into the table. Now I'm going to select my entire table. Okay, come on, table, select. Okay, select my entire table. And I'm going to go to the Home tab, and I'm going to use this clear formatting button from the font group. And that, and that will take all of my font and it will return it to the style of the table. So this is where I start. So I've got all of my data pasted into the table now. Step 5 is asking us to apply the table style medium style 1 accent 6. So let's click on our table to get our table tools, design and layout up here. Let's go to design. And then from this table styles chart, I'm going to grab this more button to expand the gallery. I want to be in the medium section. I want medium style 1. And the accent 6, if you mouse over these, they'll tell you what accent color they are. Here is medium style 1 accent 6. So we'll go ahead and select that one. You'll see it kind of changed my colors here. We're going to insert a row into the table between client-facing skills, which is this row, and time management, which is this row. So I'm going to select either one of these rows. I'm going to go to Table Tools, Layout, and here in the Rows and Columns button, I'm going to choose either Insert Above or Insert Below, depending on where my cursor is active. So I'm going to click on Client-Facing Skills and Insert Below. Now I've got a new row. We're going to populate that new row with this data. So I'm just going to select this data, Control C, and I'll select this row. And I'm going to select this entire row, and Control V. And once again, I'm going to use that little clear formatting button to make sure that I'm pasting this properly and it looks like everything else. All right, so step 7. Now let's adjust the column divider and the table size to your taste. This column, these 2 columns are exactly the same size, and this, so these are line breaking and these ones are not. So I'm just going to grab that column divider and I'm going to slide it over so that it works a little bit better. Step number 8, apply the table style option first column. So let's go to Table Tools, Design, and we're going to come over here to the table style options. And by clicking this first column button right here, I'm going to emphasize that first column. I'm going to make it bold, which is what I do want. So that is tables. We'll save and move on. Step number, let's see, we just did 8. So let's do step number 9. Navigate to slide 7. Oh, wait a second. Did I miss a step? Yes, adjust the column divider and the table size to your taste. This looks a little bit weird sitting up here, so I'm going to grab this resizing handle and just make this table match the same size as the title placeholder there. Okay, so back to slide 7. That's step 9, the traditional storytelling method. Click the Insert a Smart Art Graphic button in the empty placeholder and select the process category and then the staggered process layout. Okay, so Smart Art is right here. I'm going to select from the category list process, and then I want the staggered process. That's increasing arrows. Let's see where staggered is. Step down, accent, picture. I think the one I want is this one. Yes, staggered process. There it is. We say OK, and it pops the smart art in here for us. We're going to populate the smart art graphic with the bulleted list below. So I'm going to just copy and paste this, this bulleted list into my text pane here. First thing I'm going to do is delete everything in here. Then I'm going to come back here and I'm going to copy and paste. And now I have my bulleted list right here. So I can close this up now because I don't need to do any more typing. And now I'm going to play with my, my smart art. I'll apply the smart art style intense effect. So let's go to smart art design and let's go to the styles and let's find intense effect. There it is. Okay, so that changes things here. I'm going to apply the colors, colorful range, accent colors 5 to 6. So here's the change colors button. And I'm going to go to the colorful range 5 to 6. Colorful range, accent colors 5 to 6. There we go. And if necessary, we can adjust the graphic height so that it matches the gray title block on the left. Let me just take a look at what we're working with here, though. This looks pretty good, but if you wanted to, you could just take the entire smart art graphic and move it up and then resize it a little bit so that it takes up more of your slide. It's entirely up to you and your taste. So there's that. Let's go ahead and save our work, and we will navigate to slide 8, the star method. So we're going to select the bulleted list here, and then we're going to use a command button to automatically convert it to a smart art graphic. And we're going to use the increasing arrows process layout. So I'm going to select this entire bulleted list. You can either click and drag over the whole list, or you can just click once on the edge of the placeholder to select the whole thing. Go to the Home tab and go to the paragraph group, and there is a Convert to Smart Art button right here. So it suggests the smart art that it thinks that we want, but if you don't see what you're after there, you can always click the More Smart Art Graphics button. We'll go back to the process, and we will go to that staggered, what do we say, increasing arrows? I have a feeling increasing arrows is this one. Yes, increasing arrows. And we'll say, okay. We will apply the smart art style polished. So let's go back to design, and here's our smart art styles, and let's see which one is polished. And you just mouse over them until you see the one that works. C, we're going to apply the color set colorful range, accent colors 2 to 3. So once again, there's that change colors button. Here's colorful, and here is accent colors 2 to 3. We're going to increase the font size in the top level bullet points to 32 points. So here's where we get into Smart Art Tools format. Actually, we don't even need to go to format. We can just go to the Home tab. So I'm going to click on Situation. I'm going to hold on my Shift key and then click on Task and then Action and then Result. And it's a little bit fiddly to get them all, but there they are, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if we did it right. Home tab, increase the font size to 32. Okay, that's great. And I just used this increase font size button right here. Now we're going to adjust the SmartArt size and or position to maximize readability. So once again, I'm going to grab the outermost boundary box of the SmartArt and I'm going to reposition it a little higher and a little to the left. And then I can grab the lower corner and increase it so that the SmartArt itself is larger and easier to read. Go ahead and save. And we're going to navigate to slide number 9 now, the screen recording slide. In this slide, you're going to insert a screen recording of your choice using the screen recording command button. We want to make sure it's at least 10 seconds long. So let's go to slide number 9 here, screen recording. So I'm going to go to the Insert tab, and I'm going to go all the way over to the media group here to the screen recording button. I'm going to go ahead and click it, and it's going to bring up a little toolkit for me here, and it's going to say, what do we want to record? So first it's going to ask me to select an area. It's going to record my audio and record my pointer. Now here's a little pro tip. It automatically collapses your PowerPoint. It thinks you want to record something else. And whatever was active on your screen last is what you have access to here. If you want to shuffle through your open windows to see what else you can use, you can do the Alt-Tab trick. If you hold down your Alt key and press Tab, it cycles you through your open windows and you can choose something different. I'm going to choose, let's see. I'll choose my actual PowerPoint. So when I bring that one up, I can select the area. I'll say, I'm going to demonstrate how to navigate through the slide navigation pane. I can spend 10 seconds on that. And when I click record, it'll start recording for me. Gives you a little countdown, and then you're recording. So I will say, this is the slide navigation pane over here on the left. We use this to navigate through our slides. You can use the scroll bar. You can select a slide and use your down arrows to move through your slides. And when you are done, you can move back up. You can use the control button, select multiple slides at once, and then click any other slide you want to clear your selection. So that must be at least 10 seconds of talking. When I'm ready to be finished recording my screen, I just mouse up to the top to get my controls back, and I hit the stop button. And then my screen my screen recording is automatically inserted into this window. So let's resize it to fit neatly in here. I'll do, I guess, that. Kind of center it. Perfect. Then we're going to trim our screen recording to start at the 5-second mark. So once I click on my video, I have my video tools format and playback. Let's go to the video tools, playback, and let's trim this video. Click on the trim video button. I'm going to tell it to start at the 5-second mark. I'll say OK. Now my video begins 5 seconds after I started recording, and I'm going to fade the audio for the final 5 seconds. Video tools playback, fade out for 3 seconds. Okay. And one more thing, we're going to set the video to loop until stopped. I'm going to go ahead and under video options, click loop until stopped. I'll go ahead and save my work. And I'll move on to slide 12. Navigate to slide 10, the star method in action, and use the insert video command button. In the search YouTube field, we're going to enter the search terms behavioral interview Indeed, and we're going to select the first video in the list returned. So I'll go to insert video button here. And because we're searching YouTube, we are going to use this YouTube, and I'm going to say behavioral interview. My goodness, my typing. Indeed. And I'll hit enter. And the very first video that pops up is the one we want to pick. So I'll click on that one and say insert. And it pops it right here into my screen. The first thing we'll do is resize and reposition to distort for any corrections, or any distortion. So I'm just going to do like this and grab the corner. Make this about the same size as my title placeholder there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. B, apply a video border in gold accent 5, darker 25%, 3-point weight. So now I'm going to go to video tools, format, and I'm going to add a video border. And it is going to be in gold accent 5, darker by 25%. And I'll go back here down to the Weight button and choose 3 points. Okay. I'm also going to insert the 3D model of your choice from the online sources and position it in the empty space below the slide title star method in action, right here. So now I'm going to go to the Insert tab, and I'll go to the 3D Models button here, and I'm going to choose Online Sources. Because we're talking about the star method, I'm just going to choose a star-shaped 3D model. And I can just type star here in my 3D model search bar, and we'll see what pops up. I will use, I guess I'll use this one. Looks fancy. I'll insert that right into here, and I will drag it. Oops, that's the video. Let's put that back where we wanted it. I will drag this over here. I'm going to resize it a little bit so that it fits neatly into my little area. And I can click and drag to move this in all different ways, shapes, and forms. But I'm going to go to my 3D Model Tools Format tab here, and I'm going to go to the Model Views. And the one I want is the above front left. So let's see if we can find that. That's below front. There's above front left, and I'll slide it right in there. And now I'll do a little bit more resizing to make sure it looks nice. I've resized it to fit appropriately in the title bar, and I will save, and that is it. I am done. And you also are done. Congratulations. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to raise them with an instructor or a facilitator. If we demonstrated something and you just don't understand how it worked, like I said, reach out. We'd be happy to work with you to get you over any hurdles you may be encountering. Otherwise, good luck. You're on to Domain 5, and we will see you around Talent.